London, England, November 9th, 1888. As the city gathers for its annual Lord Mayor's Day celebration, the caretaker of a tenement in the Whitechapel district peers through an apartment window and makes a gruesome discovery. He finds the savagely mutilated body of Jack the Ripper's fifth victim, 25-year-old sex worker Mary Jane Kelly.
When he looked through, he found an absolutely horrific spectacle. He saw a massive pile of bloody flesh lying on the bed, on the bedside table, almost unrecognisable from Mary Kelly.
The murder of Mary Jane Kelly, the last known Ripper victim, it was different for some reasons from the others. One is that Mary was the only full-time prostitute among the canonical victims. The other is that it happened indoors. She rented her own place, although she was incredibly behind with the rent. 29 shillings, that was a lot. She was seen with a man, actually, shortly before she just disappeared forever into the house. And this man came and tapped her on the shoulder and said something, and they both laughed and walked off. And she obviously invited the man into her room. But sadly, there were no details about the man.
The murder of Mary Jane Kelly marked the first time that the London police took photographs of a crime scene. It was such a horrific attack that there was a new determination to catch Jack the Ripper before he struck again.
The city was in an uproar. They were calling the police incompetent, that they couldn't catch this guy. I think one of the reasons that they took photographs actually at the scene is that they recognized there's some dynamic here we need to capture. They were under a lot of pressure to solve these cases, identify this individual. I think anything that would help them to do that was going to be in their best interest.
The use of crime scene photography in Mary Kelly's murder investigation was an invaluable tool for detectives trying to identify Jack the Ripper. But why weren't pictures taken at the scene of the previous 4 murders? Well, according to one theory, it could have been due to a conspiracy to conceal the Ripper's identity because he was potentially a member of a powerful secret society known as the Freemasons.
Freemasonry has its origins in England. It's a secret society based on the Enlightenment values of the liberal arts and sciences. Individuals who are Masons, they're not just this small group of guys who are sort of on the sidelines. These are prominent individuals.
Freemasonry was rampant through the establishment of Victorian England. There were Freemasons absolutely everywhere. Through the royal family, through the government, through the aristocracy, through the church, through local councils, and in the police, of course. If Jack the Ripper had been a Freemason, in particular if he had been a member of an influential lodge, it's more than likely he would have been protected.
But what evidence is there to suggest that Jack the Ripper was a Freemason? Some researchers point to a curious message left near the murder scene of Jack the Ripper's 4th victim, Catherine Eddowes.
When the police were called to the horrendous discovery of Catherine Eddowes' body, according to the description in police records on the wall nearby, somebody had written, "The Jews are the men that will not be blamed for nothing." But Jews are spelt J-U-W-E-S. The spelling kind of summoned to mind Jubala, Jubalum, and Jubalo, who were 3 legendary assassins in Masonic law.
According to Masonic ritual, these 3 men, Jubalo, Jubala, Jubalum, killed the chief architect of King Solomon's Temple in Jerusalem 3,000 years ago because of the city's wickedness. And their murder of the chief architect is reenacted in Masonic rituals as part of the Master Mason ritual. And so the spelling of Jews was the thing that really struck the police. as a deliberate misspelling that's meant to mean something central to Masonic belief.
Could Jack the Ripper have scrawled the graffiti message to let other Freemasons know that he was a member of their secret society? It may sound far-fetched, but incredibly, the actions of the lead investigator in the case suggest that this theory could be true.
During the course of the police investigation, Charles Warren, the London police chief, took the controversial and rather odd decision to wipe the graffiti off the wall. Now, why did he do that? Maybe one of the reasons is that Charles Warren, as a Freemason, saw this on the wall and thought, oh no way am I having these murders in the East End connected to Freemasonry, and so he wiped that off.
There's a lot of people who say the connection between Jack the Ripper and the Masons was that the Masons orchestrated the murder of the prostitutes who were blackmailing a member of the royal family. Prince Albert Edward Victor, who's Queen Victoria's grandson, the heir presumptive to the throne of England. In a nutshell, the theory is that Prince Albert Edward Victor did frequent brothels, and he'd had a child by a girl named Annie Elizabeth Crook. And she told a particular group of prostitutes her secret, and they then set about blackmailing the royal family.
The speculation seems far-fetched, but the Jack the Ripper murderer unfolds during a mania for what is called slumming, when wealthy, elite people went to the precincts of the poor on a night out to enjoy themselves at dens of iniquity, sites of prostitution, and East London was famous for the dangerous proximity of both wealth and sexual exploitation.
According to the royal family conspiracy theory, the Freemasons were then brought in to murder the prostitutes who were blackmailing the royal family. Consequently, that's why police were made to erase the graffiti and to take away any suspicion from the Masons.